It's truly the great sign of a good product, like a really good product, when after 2+ years of using it, you're still figuring out new ways that you can benefit from it. And that's exactly what's happened to me with the Whoop strap. Now, I know I've made a lot of videos on the Whoop strap, and you gotta believe me when I say that they have zero input on when I make videos, how I make videos, what I talk about in my videos, and I don't work for them in any way. But I just have benefited from it in so many ways since I originally got it. And the original purchase was because it was early on detections of a certain illness. I don't want to say exactly what it is, but there's a pandemic, and if you say anything about it, then YouTube's going to flag it. So you know what I'm talking about, and that was because of the respiratory rate. But over the past 2 years, I've figured out that the very important metric that focuses on that recovery score is heart rate variability. And I've done a dedicated video talking about it, but not so much in the mental health aspect. So if you go watch those videos, but just for a quick refresher, if you're only gonna watch this one, the heart rate variability comes from that time interval in between beats. Say your heart beats 60 beats per minute. It's not beating uniformly on the second every second. There's variability in between. Maybe it's like 1.2 seconds, maybe it's 0.6 seconds. And that's because of our autonomic nervous system. We have our sympathetic, our fight or flight, or our parasympathetic, which is the opposite. So fight or flight is going to increase our heartbeat, and then the parasympathetic is going to reduce our heart rate and our blood pressure, just working in opposites. And when you're in perfect balance, the theoretical score of your heart rate variability is going to go up because they're just going to be fighting over and causing that variability in heartbeats. So when we exercise, for example, our sympathetic, our fight or flight is really increasing that heartbeat and that heart rate. But then recovery happens and our parasympathetic takes over and decreases our blood pressure, decreases our heart rate, and tries to get us back to baseline. So when you get that crappy HRV score and low recovery score, that's because we're parasympathetic dominant. Now, we do a lot of things for the most part, and I think the general population who has a Whoop strap is really focused on that physical fitness, improving cardiovascular strain health, and all that good stuff. But I gotta tell you, heart rate variability is an incredible metric for mental health. And I really got even more of an education on it when I tested out the Oura Ring, because that's not to say that you need to have a Whoop strap. I'm just talking about any sort of really good fitness tracker that measures heart rate variability can be used to improve your mental health. And that's because there's a lot of studies that are being done on, like, say, people with post-traumatic stress disorder, or they're suffering from depression, and how the cortisol levels and stress levels and everything really dominates either side of that autonomic nervous system, and you're gonna get those low HRV. So for me, yeah, I'm doing the things. I'm taking ice baths, cold showers, I'm stretching, I'm doing massages, but sometimes you get there and you're like, what the hell's going on with my HRV score? Like, I wake up, I feel fine, but there's that mental stress. I, for one, when I don't work out for long periods of time, get some pretty bad anxiety, and I can just feel it build up because I've got all this extra energy that my body doesn't know what to do with it, and it just really suffers from my mental health. So, for example, I tried to take a week off to let my body fully recover, but at a certain point, I was getting detrimental effects and my recovery score was going down. I was like, what the hell's going on? My body feels like $1,000,000. I haven't had any really bad joint discomfort or anything where you get from like high intensity exercise or CrossFit style workouts, but I was still getting those low recovery scores. And that was because my mental health was suffering from the fact that I wasn't exercising. So that HRV score was going low. I'm sure that's something that many of you out there could probably relate to, and maybe something you haven't thought about. Another thing that I want to share from a personal side was that on September 29th this past year, I got the unfortunate news that my dad suddenly passed. It was absolutely terrible. It was a pain that I had never felt before, and my HRV just absolutely tanked. And that's where I got the most alarming sight of exactly how mental health can affect your body. And what did I do? I took the damn thing off. And I don't recommend it because I wasn't looking at it. I wasn't paying attention to my health. And it's just something that a lot of people are going to do. But I told myself that I realized, hey, this is a very unfortunate thing. I've got a lot of stuff to do about this, but I need to put my tracker back on. So I put it back on, got back to the gym, went back to journaling and doing a lot of things for my mental health because, I got to live on. I got to do things. I got to be 100% when I'm needing to take care of my family and everything that needs to be done for that. So I'm sure a lot of people will try to ignore the metrics, but you got to be there and you got to own up to them, and you got to get a lot of ownership when you're looking at your metrics, especially for your mental health. So things that I've done over the past couple years is, I've tried therapy, tried talking to someone. I've tried journaling. Journaling, I try to do almost every single day. The Mind Journal for Men, where it gives you prompts that kind of direct your thoughts. If you're not someone that's going to sit down and write everything, I've tried gratitude journaling. That one doesn't really help me as much as the Mind Journal does. And I read the book Green Light, so I'm trying out the Green Lights Journal. It's got little prompts in there that kind of help out. But in general, journaling and writing every single day is something that's helped me a lot. And I kind of do that in lieu of meditation. Meditation, you sit there and you're really going through your thoughts. Like Naval Ravikant has a really good quote on it saying that it's not until you really sit there and empty your mental inbox. So just imagine all your thoughts and everything that you're thinking about as a bunch of emails, that once you clear those is when the true meditation can really begin. Also, ice baths have been really good for my mental health. And then just generally not holding anything internally and going outside as much as possible, being where I want to be. That was one of the things. Like, my mental health probably wasn't the greatest when I was living in South Florida. It's a lot better here in Austin, where I truly feel like I'm at home. So just taking steps to put myself in a position that makes me feel very happy as much as possible. So with all this being said, I've seen my HRV with everything that I've done slowly go from like an average of 45 when I first got it to roughly 100 plus, 120 on a lot of times. And it's really tough to know how much of that is from the physical recovery stuff that I do or the mental health, but you got to do it all. And that's exactly why I wanted to make this video, is you got to think about all the stuff that you're doing for your mental health to help improve. And just showing that it affects your HRV shows that if you're not mentally healthy, you're also not going to perform at your best. And I think people in a lot of high-level sports realize that, because there's sports therapists. There's a whole bunch of investment in trying to get athletes to the most physically and mentally healthy as possible. So think about that when you're looking at your metrics, when you're looking at your Whoop or your Oura Ring or any device that you use to gauge HRV. And if yours doesn't, like an Apple Watch, then I think you should figure out a different change. And I gotta tell you, it's gonna be a complete game changer of just your overall health and happiness. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you loved it. Let me know in the comments what you've done for your mental health, if this is something that you do focus on or want to focus on. If you have any questions, you can also follow me on Instagram. I've been posting more content there. I started reviewing books as well. Again, going towards my mental health and learning more about myself and just generally putting a lot of perspective. So history books, whatever. And I will see you in the next one. I hope you're doing good things for your mental health.